now. Excellent. Welcome to the first parent meeting of the Well-Educated Heart Academy. We have already been in session for a month, a little bit over a month. And like I like to say, we haven't had any catastrophic failures. So that is very, very good. I call that a great success. Um, all the classes are marching forward. We are being able to make good progress. The students, I have to say, are participating fairly well. I see that a lot of them are turning in their assignments and their notes and sharing that in the software. We are also being able to see that the students are feeling a little bit more comfortable participating in the classes and sharing with one another. One of the things that I feel have been very helpful for many of the students
You what?
is having the second hour after the live class, being able to connect, with other students and being able to have the time there for them to start doing their homework and studying the lesson and moving forward with that. I think that the students that are taking advantage of that second hour are benefiting because it's a dedicated time where they are able to start actually doing the homework and even if they have questions for me and so on, interacting, we are able to solve a lot of technical issues and questions that way. So that is a very positive experience, I would say, from my perspective. Okay. Another thing that I have found that is good, okay, is the workload, I believe, of the classes is very manageable. The students are able to, for the most part, it seems that they are responding well to the workload and being able to keep up with things. Okay. The I hope and I feel that the stress level is also not too high. Okay, we want the classes to be a good learning experience, but we don't want them
To
to
go
be
settings.
too demanding or stressful for them. So that is kind of some of the things that I'm observing. Okay, I would like to know from your perspective how things are going with your children, if what I'm saying is sounds correct, okay, or I'm too optimistic or not, so really I would love to hear your feedback and your perspective from your point of view on these things. Okay, one thing that I want to mention, that I feel that is very important. I mentioned it in some of the classes, but I forgot to mention it in some of the other classes this week. And it is that next week we are having the fall break. Okay, so we are not having the online classes next week. Okay, so that will be a good time for the students to catch up if they need to. They can also still schedule time to meet with me one-on-one if they need to. Okay, I'm going to be working most of the time, of course, either here in the academy or in my other job. So, but I would like to be available if you need anything. And let me share the screen for a second. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm showing you here. This is the school calendar for the school year. Okay. I don't know if you have had an opportunity to see the calendar before or download it, but I put it into the network, okay, as a feature. So it is there for you to download. Okay, I'm going to also put here in the chat, if you wish, the link to this directly, so that you can get that really fast. Okay. Okay, and so I can let me make sure that I have the correct link. All right. So this is also there in the chat, the link to the school calendar for you to download if you need. I would recommend that you print it so you know exactly when the breaks are going to be and when are the different weeks for the classes going. Okay. The other thing that I would like to mention is we have been very, very blessed. I feel very blessed that we have had so many students joining in the classes and being able to have this experience. There have been some students or parents that sign up their students either to too many classes or to classes that are above of their level, some younger students and so on. And so we see a little bit of shifting on the number of students depending on that. Okay. Having said that, it is important that we maintain a good balance between the struggle, okay, and the experience. All right. So on the one hand, because we are trying to learn and study and ask the students to do things, that is going to be stressful. Okay, that is going to be different, and for some of the students, if they have been only homeschooling and being very free on the choices and the type of things that they want to do or not want to do, they are going to actually push back. All right, for you. All right, one of the things that could happen is that some of the students may actually even sabotage the experience. Okay, so if they want to kind of say, I just want to get out, all right, I don't want to do this, not that because they don't have the capacity or they would actually end up enjoying it, but just because they are used to a different level of expectations and everything. And so you need to make sure that we work together in this area. All right, that we need to make sure that you communicate with me how the students are doing and whether it is that they are truly struggling or that they are actually dragging their feet. Okay, and so we have to have a little bit of a partnership with that. All right. um am I making sense in what I'm saying? Does that resonate with you? Okay. um and I hope that that is not the case, that as soon as the students have some struggle or something that is difficult or out of the norm for them, that they just throw the towel and quit. Okay, we don't want that. We want them to be able to have a level of stress that is manageable, in order for them to keep learning, in order for them to if you wish, pay the price in effort to the learning. Okay, the whole objective is that as they do this, they are going to become more capable of doing hard things. And at the end of the school year, they are going to be able to look back and say, wow, that was worth it. That was hard, but that was actually very, very worth it. I want to keep learning, and this is the way to do it. Okay, so that is kind of the main thing that I wanted to share with you. All right, do you have my link to connect with me? Okay, in order, if you need to schedule a one-on-one meeting, in order to contact me and so on, I'm going to put here again in the chat that the Calendly link for that. Okay, let me go to it really fast. Okay. All right. Because I want you to be, make sure that you can connect with me and that you feel that you can connect anytime. Okay, whenever is necessary. All right. So, let me see where I have it in a different place, this account. Okay, let's see if we have there. Okay, there we go. So I'm putting the link there to Calendly. This is the place where you can schedule a 15-minute meeting. Usually we get a lot done that way, but I really want you to feel that you can communicate with me. If there are things that are more urgent, that you need to speak with me faster, okay, I'm going to put there in the chat my phone number. So you can copy the phone number, save it, put it in your contacts, all right? And you can text me, or again, if there is something urgent, that some issue you cannot log in, or you cannot find some link for a class or something, you can actually call me that way, okay? So I want to be here for you in this experience. Like I mentioned before, we are really doing a partnership here, okay? So you are the principals in your home, okay? And I work for you as your teacher, okay, in order to teach your children. So those are some things that are very, very important for me. So before we move into the next topic that I wanted to address today, I wanted to actually open up the meeting for you to share your comments, your experience, what have you observed, okay? And, don't think, oh, this may be just me, okay? I'm pretty sure that in many cases, okay, your experience is actually more close and akin to other people's experience. So feel free to comment and participate. What has been working well and what has not been working well for you? Okay, I want to really know all of that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, Marisha?
I just wanted to say that Jared is my son is Jared. Our son, Brett, my husband's right here. But I think that it's going pretty good. I really love the way you teach the class. I think that even though Jared's the kickback you're talking about, I believe that probably is going on a little bit. He goes, "Oh, it's so boring." I don't want you to take that as an offense or anything. He's just that way with everything right now, school related. So that's where he's at. But because he's a 14-year-old, but I just love the way you're teaching the class. I love the way the it has the live class interaction as well as his own study and turning in assignments. I think that's really important because I've just been homeschooling him the whole time, and maybe he takes you a little bit more seriously than me. And I think it's also nice to have somebody else doing some of the teaching. But I really do appreciate the option to meet with you if he needs to. Like, what would you want? I mean, at this point, I think we're doing fine, but what would you want a student to schedule a meeting with you for?
Mhm. Excellent question. So thank you for that feedback. So the main purpose of scheduling time with me would be either if there are some either technical issues dealing with the class or not being able to find something or knowing how to do something. In some of the classes, we are using the Labster simulation software. Sometimes that could be a little tricky, and the students sometimes they may get stuck on something. And so if any of those situations happen, those are good times to schedule a meeting with me. Also, if they feel that some of the topics are going way over their head, okay? So if there is something that they are not understanding, that is also a good opportunity to schedule time with me, all right? In a couple of weeks ago, I think that it was in the biology class, one of the students mentioned that she mentioned, I'm not understanding this thing about the different chemical bonds and everything. And so I said, okay, let's, in the second hour after class, during the second hour, let's go into a breakout room and then I'll explain that again. Okay. And so we did, and another student actually joined that heard, oh, I need to understand this better also. And so, and literally in about 15-20 minutes, we were able to clarify that, and she felt a lot better about the topic. Okay, so all of those reasons are good reasons to schedule time with me. Okay. For the students to do that. Thank you so much. Amber.
So my daughter said that um, if they're a little bit behind or if they miss a class, that they don't have to turn their assignment in the day of class as long as it gets turned in. But what is a realistic time frame? Do you want it turned in within the next couple of days, or what time frame are you looking at?
Excellent. That is a good question. Okay. So this is what I do. All right. My time is also very limited. All right. And so when the students turn in their assignments on time, okay, before the live class, when the assignments are due, I look at the assignments, I read them, I give them feedback and encouragement. Okay. If they turn the assignments after the due date, I may also look at it, but when I have the time to do it. Okay. And I may or may not have enough time to give them a lot of feedback. So that is kind of the difference. Does that make sense? All right. So I still want them to do it, all right, and to turn things in, but that is the problem is that because it is already past the class, I may not have enough time to look at everything that the students turn late. Okay, so this though brings up a point, okay, that I think that is important. There may be cases where a student gets, for whatever reason, family vacations, sickness, or, something happening, that they fall behind 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. In those cases, my preference, okay, and again, you are the principal at the school, so you decide how you want to encourage and handle it. But my preference is for the student not to try to catch up with everything, as far as notes and this and that. I would prefer for them to still watch the videos and read the assignments and so on, but not to feel that they have to do a whole catch up. Okay. Because if that happens, some of the students dig themselves into such a big hole that they never get back in with the class. Okay. And so they are always feeling, 2 weeks behind and with this load on their shoulders. Mm-hmm. And so what I want them to do, what I would prefer them to do, is to, understand the content, read the content as best as possible, but not to have to worry about all the notes and everything in order to catch up. Okay. Does that make sense, Amber? Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think I'm going to be careful about how much I tell my child that. She'll kind of run with that.
That's right. Yeah, because you don't want them to use it as a get free of jail card and saying, yes, oh, I'm going to just postpone and not do anything and then not do anything. Okay.
Right. Well, she is she's kind of struggling because it takes her a lot longer to do her work, and I feel like she is getting a little bit behind. So as a parent, that's really helpful to know that I can just judge what she can do to stay caught up.
Yes. And again, one of the things that is very important is many students spend a lot of time with their homework because they are actually doing a lot more than what is required. Okay. Some do it because they want to. All right. But others feel that they have to do everything. All right. I'm not expecting that. And one of the things that I try to do in order to show that is at the beginning of the classes, I show to the students the assignments that other students have turned in. And I show some that are really, really well done, and others that are not really well done, but they are sufficient. And I praise that too. I said, wow, this is also very good. It's complete, it's, bullet points, fine, excellent. Okay. To give them the sense that there is a wide range of the quality that is acceptable. Okay.
I really appreciate that. That is super helpful.
Okay, excellent. Allison?
Hi, how are you, Dr. Riboldi?
Doing good. Good to see you.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment. I've got a 12 and 14-year-old daughters taking your biology class, and it has been so fantastic. We are loving it. They are loving it. I just have never seen them so intentional about anything thus far in their education. They love you as a mentor, and I just have to share this fun little sidebar. So last week when you were going over the carbon bonds and they're drawing those out and things, later that evening I went downstairs and my two little boys that are 10 and 8, they had drawn it on the whiteboard and they were describing it all to me perfectly without their sister's help, and the sisters weren't even around. And I thought, wow, what a great opportunity for these little boys to absorb anything that's being taught them. And the girls are so excited to share their notes, and as they upload those notes every week, they've been so responsible. They've divided the amount of pages they need to read in a week by how many days of homework, and they've just been loving what they're learning. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to you, Pablo. You're doing great things with these youth, and it's really affected our whole home in a really positive, wonderful way. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the kind words and feedback on that. This also reminds me of something. Okay, many times the students have asked, what do you expect for me to write in the notes? Okay. And what I tell them is the following. I said, the notes are for you. So write the notes as if you were thinking, what do I want to remember and know about this topic if I were to teach this topic to somebody else? Okay. And I always mention, I said, like Allison mentioned, do you have younger siblings? Okay. So imagine that you are going to be the teacher of this course for your younger siblings.
Yeah.
Keep the notes, take notes in order for you to be able to do that. Okay. So, and it is awesome to hear that the girls are actually teaching their brothers. So that is great. Love it. Thank you, Allison. Thank you so much for that. Elizabeth?
Hi, thanks for having this meeting. I just want to preface this with the fact that I haven't sat in on the classes at all. So I really haven't listened in, and I don't really know exactly what's happening, but I have had a little bit of feedback from my son that I kind of wanted to ask about. I will also say he's in your geometry class, and he's actually really excited about learning geometry in this way, and he really wants to. I think his feedback has been that for him it's felt a little frustrating because he says it feels like a fair amount of every class time has been spent on working out like technical difficulties with like with people's computers not working right, that kind of thing, or I don't even really know. And so and then just also, like, he says he feels like the class time hasn't been as focused as he would love it to be on the subject matter at hand. And I really, again, like I say, I haven't sat on the classes at all. So I'm taking it all with a grain of salt, but I kind of wanted to just ask for your feedback on how you feel like, if you feel like it's going well to your experience with being like on topic, engaged in the subject matter in that class, maybe specifically. I don't know, maybe that class is a little bit harder to wrangle in. He did feel he was telling me about how you guys discussed that poem by Rudyard Kipling in class on Tuesday, this last Tuesday, and to me, I'm like, that sounds awesome. But to him, he was actually kind of frustrated that it took the whole 2-hour time when he was really hoping to get answers to his questions about geometry. He had a lot of questions from the previous assignment and stuff, and things that he didn't really understand. And so he felt a little frustrated that he didn't get any chance to discuss the geometry portion of it. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to get your feedback on how you feel like that's going with keeping the classes kind of focused on where it's supposed to be. If you're facing a lot of challenges with kids having technical difficulties that they are needing help with in class time, that kind of thing.
Excellent question. Thank you so much for that. So first of all, when the students, so there is amazingly, but in an online class, there is not a whole lot of things that you control. Okay. All right. So like, for example, if the students raise their hand, okay, and I tell them, okay, go ahead and speak, and then their microphone is not working, okay, I have to decide how long do I give them time to fix things. All right. And there's really not a whole lot that I can do. I can even give them a little bit of guidance of what to look for and so on. I'm not seeing their screen. I'm not seeing what they are doing. Okay, and I don't know if the problem is going to be solved in 10 seconds or in 20 minutes. All right. So we never go over, a few seconds really. And if the student is not able to solve the problem right away, we move on. Okay. So I don't think that a lot of the time has been spent dealing with technical issues or problems. Okay. Many times if students have some enduring technical problem, I say, okay, let's do that in the second hour. Okay, let's do that later on. All right. As far as the questions, okay, I give the students about at least 3 times during the class chance to ask questions. Okay, so when we start the classes, okay, I ask, do you have any questions? Are there any questions, anything that you need help with? Any questions on the assignments? Any questions with the technology? Anything that you need to resolve? Okay. And we wait until anyone asks or not, and then we move on. Okay. After we finish with the content of the class, before we go into what we would call, more of the relating the topic to something else, I also give them a chance to ask questions. Okay. And then at the end of the class, I also ask them, do you have any questions? Okay. So, so I don't know what else I can do about that part. Okay. In this particular class in geometry, the topic is more about learning to think and to reason than just learning geometry. Okay. And so the things that we do on bringing other content and other material into the class, I think that is very critical and important, but does not overshadow the topic of geometry. Okay. On Tuesday, when we were reading the poem, I made it very clear, when the class was ended, okay? And then the students had the option to stay for the second hour to continue reading, and everyone voted and said that they wanted to continue with that. And so that is why we continued. And I think that it was a very, very profitable time and experience, really. Okay. So that is kind of what I'm trying to do and accomplish. Okay. It is a little different. Okay. This is a little different class. Some students may feel, wow, we have spent all these weeks and we have read literally a page and a half of Euclid. Okay. But we have actually learned a ton of material and things that are very, very important and pertinent to that. I would like to see, are there here any mothers that have been in the classes, okay, that would like to comment or give some feedback on that? Siri, Marisha, okay. I see you here, and I think that Jessica and Beth, okay. So let's see, Siri, what is your take on how the classes go?
So this last Tuesday, I hope I'm coming in clear. My internet has been kind of off and on. Okay, great. So this last Tuesday when I'm in the 3 o'clock hour, my daughter and I take it together. And like your morning class, we went ahead into the second hour, continuing our discussion of the material. And she and I actually both really liked that. We loved that we were able to move into that second hour and have more time with kind of a guided discussion and questions and answers. Even more so than having it as an open hour where we are either silently working or moving into breakout rooms. We actually preferred how it happened this last Tuesday. I don't know if that is something that you could take into account and kind of do more of. And I don't want to take away from Elizabeth's comment about not having enough time to get to questions and things in the second hour. I wouldn't want to forego that by any means, but we really liked that we could continue more discussion of the content as opposed to it going more silent and, you know, working what ends up usually being, you know, just silent working for us here. Yeah, so we really, really enjoyed Tuesday. I think my questions or maybe concern would be how much of the material you're aiming to cover in the year, looking at the size of book, and as you mentioned, having covered 2 pages. And I'm not, as both a homeschooling mom and a student in the course, I'm not in favor of moving like too much faster because I have enough on my plate, but I am wondering what the end goal is come the end of the term, how much you do anticipate to cover.
Excellent question. So let me address that really quick, especially in the geometry class. The last time that I taught, so the first time that I taught this geometry class to homeschooling families, we were able to finish book 1 in 1 school year. Okay, all right. The second time that I taught the class, when I was with American Heritage School online, we finished book 4 in the school year. So we did a lot more. The pace, I believe that was too much this other time. Okay, so this time is going to be less than that. Okay, my goal and objective here is to help the students understand what they are reading and having a good experience, having a challenging experience, but also a good experience, and give them the tools to enable them to continue learning on their own or to take a following up class on geometry. So we can continue doing Euclid, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, but I prefer to go at a good pace and not too hurry. Okay, does that help, Siri, to kind of give you an idea? So I'm not sure exactly where we are going to finish during this school year. I'm hoping that it will be, beyond book 2, okay? Somewhere probably in book 3, but we'll see. It will depend a lot on how the students do. So thank you for your feedback on Tuesday's class, okay? And I hope that we can do more of those type of discussions also during the second hour as possible. Marisha, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, Marisha, thank you. As far as Elizabeth, I just wanted to say that, what? I'm sorry?
Miracle that I pronounced something correctly.
I know, it's great. Most people don't. I just wanted to tell Elizabeth that I get your concerns. I just wanted to say 3 things. I've been listening. I'm not a student, but my son is in the geometry class as well. And I've been kind of listening over his shoulder, and I've listened to probably most of it. And I've noticed that there are technical difficulties here and there, but Dr. Ribaldo doesn't really, Ribaldi, sorry, saying it wrong. Not,
Pablo, for you,
so he
Pablo, you
doesn't,
can just call me Pablo and we are okay.
Pablo does not linger on it. Like if he tells them we can't hear you, and then he goes on to the next person. So he hasn't spent much time that I've seen anybody having any difficulties with that. He just goes on, which is great because I felt like, oh good, I'm glad he's not wasting time on that. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is I've noticed that any child or any person, student who raises their hand and asks a question or wants to say something, every single person that I've ever watched raise their hand has gotten a chance to speak and ask whatever question they wanted. And he's taken the time for each individual student to answer their questions. So I feel like if your son, I don't know if it was your son or daughter, but maybe they didn't raise their hand. I don't know. I'm just saying everybody I've seen raise their hand has gotten it answered. So I think that's really awesome. He gives like great attention to each student. And he handles them I feel like in really respectfully and positively. I love the way my son has had a little bit of a negative attitude, and I just think it's been helping him to like improve his attitude towards all of the schooling and everything that he's doing. So I just wanted to say that. So I haven't seen somebody not get their question answered or not get to speak when they wanted to speak. So the number 3, as far as the long conversation on Tuesday, I actually listened to all of it because it was super interesting, and it was an amazing conversation. It was a very, I thought, really important. I know what didn't have to do with geometry, and from the way you can think about geometry and numbers and circles and whatever, all the things that the kids are learning. But I feel like it was a super vital conversation, and I'm really glad my son got to hear that. I'm glad I got to hear it too. Thank you. I just happened to start listening, and I'm like, whoa, this is really interesting. I want to hear I want to hear it. So yeah, and as far as the schoolwork, I mean, I feel like it's very there's a lot of information that my son has been trying to learn, and he's spent about 6 hours a week on the homework. So I feel like it is really progressing as far as all the things he's learning. I don't think I could teach him this myself. So so far I don't have anything negative to say about it, but I just wanted to tell you, as from a parent's perspective, I've been watching pretty much all of it. I mean, I haven't seen every minute of it, but I've been watching over his shoulder and kind of making sure he's attending it. And that's just my feedback.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Beth, thank you so much.
Can I just comment really quick? Is that okay?
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Elizabeth, of course.
Thanks. I really appreciate everyone's comments because like I said, he may have just been having kind of a bad day on Tuesday. And so it may have just been one of those days. And so that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I just wanted to get other people's perspectives of what was going on. And it's actually really helpful for me to know that the purpose of the discussing the poem was about learning to think, because I agree that is really important, is important to all, like integral to any kind of math learning that they're going to do or anything. So that's why I wanted to say something, is because I wanted to get other parents' feedback and stuff like that. So that's really helpful. And it's also just helpful for me to know how to go ahead and have a conversation with my son about it in the future. So anyway, thank you guys all for commenting about that. That's really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, really. Okay. And this is the type of conversation that we have to have. Okay. This is exactly the purpose of doing these things. All right. And the type of partnership that we need to build. Okay. In order to be able to see, when is the student pushing back, okay, or when are they actually having some issue, So this is very, very helpful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Beth?
So it's actually me that wants to comment. I'm Jason.
Hi, Jason. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I attended, so quite a few years ago, I attended George Wythe College back when they were down in Cedar City. with Dr. DeMille, and we had some great teachers down there. We actually studied, we had a math class down there, and it was an amazing math class. We actually studied Archimedes, and we pulled out Euclid. I still have my copy of the Euclid books that we studied. And one thing that impressed me as we studied those things is that geometry and Euclid really is a way to get you to think. It's a process. And I remember reading about Abraham Lincoln, who studied, he actually, if you read any of his writings, he studied intensely Euclid's books and knew those postulates and the definitions and all those kinds of skills that he developed, because it made him a better critical thinker. And I think that it's awesome that you brought in that poem to help them to learn how to think, because really that's what geometry is all about, is to help them, not necessarily learning, how to go through the circle and learning all those different diagrams and definitions, but it's the thinking of the process through those concepts that's going to help those students to develop critical thinking patterns and to be able to build their thinking processes one upon each other, just like those postulates build upon each other. And so I think that's an amazing part of what studying geometry can do. And I think it's a great thing that you're doing. That poem, we talked about that poem over our dinner last night, and what an amazing thing that was that we're doing that in a class like this. I think it enhances it, and I think it's great.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So
And
we
you know
hope
what?
to continue doing that.
One thing
Yes,
is
go
that
ahead, Beth.
I was just sorry. One thing is that I love how you're just kind of opening Jenna's mind, because the first time she read it, it was like, what the heck is this? And then by the end, after your discussion, she was just really interested in wanting to share it. And so, had that excitement of, oh, I get it now, so thank you.
Yes. One of the things that I like, one of the mottos that I have for me and for my kids, okay, for my family, is we do hard things to know that we can do hard things. And so that is something that I want to help the students experience the joy of discovering new understanding and learning new things in areas that they didn't think that they could, okay? Being able to understand and really gain mastery of something that they thought this is too hard for me, okay? So that is one of the goals here. Okay. Yeah, Jessica, you put there in the chat, I'm in the morning geometry class. The youth in the class are incredible. I learned so much from them. We have in the morning class, we have one student that he lives in Germany. Okay. He is a 9-year-old student. And the parents told me, he's pretty advanced in math, but he's 9 years old. Do you think that he's going to? He is amazing, really. He's always participating and commenting. And, sometimes his comments are a 9-year-old comment, okay? But I love his comments because he's always very, very much on topic. So it's really, really fun to learn from him. Aida?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
so I'm taking the class, sort of. My daughter's taking the class, but she doesn't speak English super well. And so I'm like trying to learn along with her and then help explain the concepts to her. And I think going back to that question that I think was Elizabeth asked, like about the class, like I think it's really hard for kids to make the connection between this poem that we studied and geometry. And like a lot of that is tricky to understand, but like it's all about eternal truths, like, and how geometry, you have these truths or these axioms that you have to understand in order to do anything in geometry, in order to calculate anything, right? And so the same is true with this poem, but I think that might be tricky for a lot of the kids to understand that concept. Like I know for my daughter, she was like, why are we reading this poem? You know, like what? And then of course, really difficult for her to understand. So that discussion was really helpful, even though she was kind of like, why are we discussing this? Just to get that like a little bit more clear in her mind what it was talking about, and then watching that
Yeah.
podcast or whatever too. But so I mean, I think it's really helpful for parents if they can participate a little bit in some of those discussions and talk about like some of the videos. Like the podcast was really great to listen to that, and then I was sharing things with my other kids about it and my daughter and trying to explain it to her, and it was great. Like that other couple that just talked about it, like they discussed it over dinner, and that's a really awesome thing to help your kids really understand those concepts if you can, right? So anyways,
Yeah.
that's all I had to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. My expectation really is that I'm always thinking that you are there, okay? Whether you are the student taking the class, like, Jessica or Siri, or you are with your children, or you are just listening in the background, okay? Like Marisha, I welcome all of you all the time, okay? So anyone can log in and participate and listen and everything, because precisely I want for these conversations to happen afterwards, like Ida was saying. Okay, that is precisely the point of being able to have this type of interactions as a family afterwards. Kimberly?
Hi. Sophie's in the morning geometry class, and I just wanted to comment that she loves that second hour where she sometimes gets to meet new people and talk and interact. And they've had quite a large group a few times. And so she was a little disappointed about the poetry going into that, because then she didn't get to talk to her friends. But there's some incredible kids in there that she loves, and yeah, she's not like a loving to take notes person, but she knows how to do it, and she's doing a good job with it. So yeah, it's a stretch for her, but she's doing well.
That is great. That is great. Yeah. And I want to find a balance during this second hour. My hope is that as we get more used to things, I always try to, except this past Tuesday in geometry, but I always try to open up several breakout rooms and let the students go and decide who they want to meet with, who they want to talk with, and so on, in order to really make it, very communal, really. Okay. And give them the opportunity to do that. And then we may have also some breakout rooms where I go with some students to discuss some other topics more related to the class and whatnot. So that is the purpose of that second hour. So thank you so much for that. Excellent. So yes, and you can certainly listen to the classes. The classes are also all recorded, okay? And I post them as soon as I can. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days to process the videos and download everything and so on. But all the classes are recorded, and you can go back and listen to them or review them. Or if the students miss the class for whatever reason, they can also watch it later on. Okay. So any other question? Any other concern, comments, feedback? You can raise your hand whenever. Okay, I'm going to address another thing, another topic related here to this experience that I want to kind of um, introduce and propose, if you wish, okay, to all of you. A couple of weeks ago, we had our first kind of in-person field trip experience. Okay, we did a hike to Dry Creek Canyon, and Beth was there with her family. Okay, and I think that we had some another family from Bountiful that came, and we had a blast. Okay, so who was the other family that was there? Do you? I can't remember exactly the name, but if you are here, raise your hand. Let me know. All right, but Beth, could I impose on you and tell me a little bit about what you felt that experience was like? Okay. Of course, it was longer than we planned, but tell me about the experience itself.
Wow, I
Yeah.
actually wrote a paper on this that I haven't I'll share it maybe, but it was very meaningful to me. This connection between being a mentor that goes ahead in your learning to be able to guide other people. So it was fantastic for me to see Dr. Pablo he usually ran this trail, and so he could talk to us as he was walking backwards, and we were huffing and puffing, and he was, not out of breath at all. But he really just opened our eyes to a lot of things we wouldn't have considered. And we hike as a family, and we like to look at plants and flowers, but your depth of knowledge took me, it got me interested in what we were talking about, and just I really should share that paper with you all on the Mothers of Influence site,
Oh, I would
because
love it.
I think that goes into a lot better explanation. But I was really impressed at just the caring of this of biology is what we were talking about, and he just really inspired me to want to learn more. So
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I would love to read your paper. Okay, so please send it to me, okay? Yes. So what I would like to do, and this is kind of the proposal part of it, is I would love to be able to have this type of experience with as many families and students as possible. Okay. And so I know that there are many families that are here close to Utah County, and I live in Utah County, Utah, and so we may be able to do those type of field trip experiences more often. But I also would love, 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 love to do this type of field trips with families living in other areas. Okay. So we have several families that are in Cache County. We have lots of families that are in Idaho. We have families that are in California. We have 3 families in Florida, close to Orlando area. And so what I would love to do, we have families in Oregon. Okay. What I would love to do is to see if we can organize things, and this is probably going to be mostly during the summer month when I don't have all the pressure of the live classes and everything. But what I would love to see is if we can organize the families that are together in one area, schedule a time for me to be able to go there, and then we plan on doing some hikes, nature walks, visit to museums, okay, visit to other places and so on, in order to have an in-person experience that way. Okay, so that would be fantastic for me to be able to extend that service and that experience to families in other areas. Okay, it's not the same if we were just videotaping a field trip, okay, and sharing, and then the students watching a video about it. Okay, that would be okay, but that wouldn't be the best. All right. And so what I want is to keep that, just propose that as an idea, and see, in the future how we can organize some things like that, and so on. I'm going to try to see if we can organize this next week. When we have fall break, I want to see if I can organize something to do maybe in Cache County or in Idaho area and so on, in order to do this type of trips. Okay. So any questions or reactions about this? How does that sound? Is it kind of a harebrained idea, too crazy, or what do you think? Let me catch up with the chat. There's there's a lot of people saying
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else in Oregon. I don't know if you'd come all the way to Oregon just for one student, but I was just thinking it would be cool to go over there too. I mean, if that was possible, I don't know. But I love the idea. I hope that my son can do a class, your class, every year until he's done with school. That's my goal. So I hope you keep doing these classes.
That's okay. Yeah, that is my goal too. So and I see this that way. The interesting thing is that the Mighty Networks, the software that we are using, has the capability, when you go to, let me share the screen to show you how to do this, okay, and
This
how
might
it
be
looks
helpful.
like. Okay, when you are here on the home screen, if you click on members, there's another option to click near you. Okay, and so if the families, if the students and the families put their location, it actually, the software kind of automatically tells you who are closest to you. Okay, so I cannot find out how many are in Oregon, okay, but you can. All right, and so that will be one thing that you can do. And so if you find other families, other people that are close by, you can then start a chat with them. You add here a chat, and you can search for them and start chatting about this. Okay, and seeing, can we do this? Can we schedule something and then coordinate with Dr. Pablo to do a field trip or something like that? Okay, I am totally game for that. Okay, really, I would love to do this type of things as often as possible. Okay, so that is kind of the proposal, the idea behind this type of interaction. Okay, so Marisha, you put there, I think a summer retreat is a great idea. In American Heritage School Online, we were able to do a summer retreat, inviting all the students from different areas and so on. That I know how much effort that took, on how many people had to work in order to put a retreat like that together. I cannot do it at this point in time. Okay, so we may do some other things a little bit lower key and so on, but hopefully as we plan these things in advance, we could put a schedule of field trips or trips that we could do at in different places in different times, and then you can either choose how to join or coordinate that type of thing here. And of course that, let's suppose, Marisha, that there are not other families in Oregon that are participating now in the academy. Okay, well, I'm sure that you know a few other homeschooling families that you can tell them about this and have them join just for this very purpose. Okay, they don't have to take a class now, but you know, if we can invite other people and other families around your community in your sphere of influence, I think that that would be fantastic. Okay, so anyways, that is what we have. So here, Kelly, you put that you have some families in Michigan. Please come to Michigan. I'm all for it. Okay, no problem. So I would love to do this type of things as often as we can. Okay, because I see the value, the learning opportunity that could bring. Okay, so we'll communicate more on this and try to organize things better. At this point in time, I am happy to just stay alive and ahead of the students with the classes and with all the corrections. But that is kind of these are some of the things that we have in mind for the near future. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for the time. Okay, I want to give another opportunity to anyone if you want to comment, ask questions, or anything that pertain to the whole group. If you want to ask something more particular to you, we can do that after we finish the meeting. Okay. So Marisha.
One more question. I saw a post a little while ago about her possibly.
Mr. Bentley wants to know about Super Saturday this week.
Somebody was talking about
these are the joys of online learning. You see how little control I have of things. So go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no worries. That's how it is. No, there was a post in the class comment section. I don't know that somebody was going to arrange some online meetings for different and exciting subjects. I don't remember what it was, but I haven't heard anything further. But that would be awesome too. I mean, it's easier to do all together online. I was just curious if anything was coming up.
I have a committee of. Go ahead, Beth. You are the committee. You are 50% of the committee.
We have one coming up on, let me just look, the 13th of October. And I think, so we have a little bit of delay on the announcements going out, but anyway, you can plan on that. It's a Spanish dinner. We'll be emailing out the recipes and we can each make them and then eat them together. So it'll be fun.
Muy bueno, excelente. Podemos hacer un poco de comida latina y argentina. Yeah, that is great. Okay. Yeah, so we are planning, we have a schedule, okay. The main problem for announcing all these things has been actually myself, okay. You know, I have the control of putting these announcements out and everything, but I haven't had the time to do it. Okay, as you can see, this meeting was scheduled to be earlier on in September, and now it's in October and we are having it a couple of weeks afterwards. Okay, but that is just because of that. But we are planning on doing some online activities also, okay, both for the students and families to do together, and also some webinars for parents, okay? Like we had the first webinar before the start of classes. There's other webinars that I would like to do also for parents. So hopefully during this next week of fall break, that is what I'm going to be working on too. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Yes, there we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for your participation and for coming to this meeting. Thank you for your support of this endeavor. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to teach these classes and to teach your children. It is a true privilege for me. So I appreciate it. And with that, we are going to call the meeting done. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording.